Sturgeon stumble in between the crosshairs as SNP supporters erupt over Scotland's current COVID-19 curbs. Nicola Sturgeon's refusal to rethink Scotland's current COVID-19 curbs has sparked fury from previous SNP supporters as England holds off on new restrictions for New Year's Eve. The First Minister addressed a recalled Scottish Parliament on Wednesday to update the nation on COVID-19 infections, hospitalisations and measures after the Christmas weekend. Ms Sturgeon said in a virtual address that caution was key when assessing the new data and the stress on the health services with skyrocketing case numbers. She said that 80% of all cases in Scotland were now identified as the Omicron variant, and that case numbers had increased by 47% on the previous week. She warned that the full impact of the Christmas period is not yet known, but the spread of Omicron will likely see a further spike in cases in weeks and months ahead. She said that everyone, over the New Year's period and beyond, should stay at home more than usual, pushing for ventilation and limits on household mixing. Scotland hit a record 15,849 positive confirmed tests for COVID-19, Ms Sturgeon added, a significant jump on the previous highest daily case number of the entire pandemic. Whilst England has no new COVID-19 restrictions in place, Scotland reimposed a number of coronavirus measures on Boxing Day, along with Wales and Northern Ireland. Limits on large events came into force on December 26, including a cap of 100 people at indoor standing events and 200 people at indoor seated events. The following day saw the closure of nightclubs, a 1 metre distance rule for hospitality and no more than 3 households in a group. The Scottish First Minister reiterated in Wednesday's address to Holyrood that these measures would not be loosened before the 3-week mark, which will be January 17. Her confirmation of the new measures was greeted with an incensed reaction by many people on social media, calling her stance overly cautious and damaging to Scotland. One reader and apparent long-time SNP voter, Emmanuel, commented, "It's time for the return of the United Kingdom. The political experiment has failed." From someone who supported independence for decades. This echoed the previous thoughts of many Scots, including at @DavidStoker_LFC on Twitter, who posted to the First Minister, "Enough at Nicola Sturgeon. Triple vaccinated, got a passport, wear a mask, sanitize my hands and still subject to draconian restrictions around football games in low-risk outdoor settings. Well, no more votes for you, no more monthly direct debit, no more leaflets through doors." Reader Snowpilot 50 agreed, reacting to the news, "It's all backfired on her and Drakeford. Oh dear, how sad." Never mind. Welsh First Minister Mark Drakeford announced that, as of Boxing Day, nightclubs in Wales will be shut and the rule of 6 reinstated. A maximum of 30 people can now attend indoor events and 50 people can gather at outdoor events. The restrictions across the devolved nations particularly antagonized the struggling hospitality industry, with leading figures warning that Scots and Welsh revellers on the English border will simply cross over into a restriction-free England for New Year's festivities. After the First Minister announced the restrictions, William Lees-Jones, owner of J.W. Lees Pubs, responded by barring Ms Sturgeon from his premises for life. He said the restrictions would hit the already struggling hospitality sector hardest of all, warning that many businesses could fold for good. The businessman said, "The reshuffling of bookings and New Year, that's going to send some businesses over the edge." Meanwhile, in another news, Boris Johnson gave the green light for people to celebrate on New Year's Eve but urged the nation to be cautious and sensible. The Prime Minister said he believes everybody should enjoy New Year despite the spread of the Omicron variant. He said the strain continues to cause real problems, with hospitalizations rising, but the data shows it is obviously milder than the Delta variant. Mr Johnson said the booster jab rollout means England does not currently need new coronavirus restrictions, despite Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland all imposing new rules on socialising. The Premier today repeated his plea to the nation to get boosted as he warned that 90% of COVID patients in intensive care units across the country had not received the top-up dose.